Happy Halloween, people. It is me, John Avenger, once again. I finally came back. I took a long break from doing YouTube videos because I was very stressed out this month. It's been a really rough personal time for me. But I'm back. I'm going to do one more review before we get to November in a couple minutes, pretty much, because over here it's like 11:34 at night. So, hey, what better way to end Halloween than end it with a nice, cool 2-hour documentary that I saw this year on YouTube, and it's from it's a documentary on Return of the Living Dead. It's called More Brains, the definitive documentary of you know it's a discussion on Return of the Living Dead, all of the production and the actors, and interviews about how the experiences was in the movie, and it's really interesting. Dan O'Bannon, the director, didn't do the documentary because he sadly passed away. May he rest in peace. He was the director. The actors had nice things to say about him. That he was nice to work with, but he was always in his own world, and he wanted to do things his way because he was one of those choosy directors, selective directors, kind of like some of the directors now. Except back then in the '80s, they actually let the directors do their work. Hintity hint hint. That's when a director does their work right. Other times, they don't forget to finish, and then you see what happens. But here, the documentary is pretty interesting. It's very in depth. It mostly talks about the first film. It doesn't really get into the sequels or anything like that. And it talks about other horror movies that came out at the time that they were kind of comparing it to, like Romero's Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. But this was a more comedic tone of those, and not it's not really in canon with those. It's like kind of its own thing, a spin-off of those. And the practical effects are amazing in the movie. I must say, in the documentary they explain how they did the makeup effects with Tom Savini and whatever, and how good it was to make these effects with hands, and how good they look on screen without all this BS CGI that we use in horror movies now, which is not needed, by the way. CG blood looks terrible. It looks like a freaking video game in a movie. I'd rather have a practical gusher of blood coming out of someone's mouth or face or whatever. And there's some memorable moments in the movie. You got people like Linnea Quigley, who in this movie, if you've seen this movie, you know exactly what she looks like. She has red hair, and she does a strip tease in the and she really did that. That wasn't a stunt double. She did a striptease in the cemetery. Miguel Nunez Jr. is in the documentary. He talks about how it was. He was like, he's a man, and he got to see a woman naked in front of him, and he's like, yeah, and you know what I'm talking about. Tom Matthews is in the documentary, and Clu Gulager is in the documentary. There is some archive footage of Dan O'Bannon, so they do a nice tribute to him. See, they can do a nice tribute to somebody without being forced. Hintity hint hint. But anyway, enough about Rogue One. Anyway, the documentary, if you it's is it scary? No, because it's just a documentary. It's people talking about the film. They how they worked on the film. It was hard work. There were days that the cast was like, went through some rough patches. And the release of the movie, when it came out, they didn't know if it was going to be successful or not. This was not like now where a movie's a tentpole film and it either is going to be a huge hit like that or a huge flop, like some other movies that we've seen in this decade. Like half of the Disney movies that came out in the past 8 years. Back in 1985, I believe, the year I was born, they didn't have $100 million budgets, especially for horror films. They had a modest budget. They went for it, the production budget, and they had the advertising budget. And for this, they did not have a lot of money, and you can tell with the cast that they got, especially there's no A-listers in the movie, but they're good enough actors. And when they talk about their experiences as real, that's what I like about documentaries and not mockumentaries, because those are just like playing a fool, playing the audience or fool, saying, nah, we're just gonna make fun of how stupid documentaries are. I'm like, no, they're real. What happens in a documentary, it's in real life. It's not staged, it's not scripted, it's not, uh it's not like punked. No, this is real stuff. This is people talking about their real experiences on set, off the set, and how the success of the movie and how it affected their careers. This is real, baby. I love when something is real, because when something is fake and it takes me out of it, like bad effects or a false face or a person's accent or something like that, when it feels fake and I could see right through it, it takes me out of the illusion. Here, I was like, wow, these people are actually talking like normal human beings, and they have no egos. And most of the other like supporting cast that played a zombie, or they played the paramedics, or they played a cop or something. There was always somebody in the cast that left an impression on you. I think there was someone in the cast that passed away as well after working on the movie, because I think he had an accident or something. Yeah, it's sad, but like I said, any horror documentary is going to have some horror to it, whether it's real or not. You know, somebody dying or somebody getting sick or someone getting hurt on set. It happens. I know. I've been on sets of many, many plays, and it's basically a film set, except you're doing it live. You're not pre-recording stuff. So, but yeah, I know what it feels like. And the movie, the documentary is very interesting. Tevya, if you're a fan of documentaries on horror films, I would recommend this to Tevya, Josh, Sean, wherever you are, Josh. I know you're out there somewhere. I hope you see this, because this is my last video for October. I really think that this is a really good documentary. It's in depth. It's definitive for the first movie, and it doesn't lie to you like other documentaries have done, like the definitive history of the Ninja Turtles. That's BS. That's only like a third of the Ninja Turtles history. This is the definitive version of talking about the behind the scenes on the Return of the Living Dead movie, which I do enjoy. The soundtrack, the makeup effects, the cast, the late director's work. It left its impact. The one thing that the film had that I was not a fan of is the ending. Like I said, I think I said that when I reviewed the movie. It's just downbeat and it doesn't fit this comedic tone, in my opinion. A lot of 80s films had that problem, but it's a good documentary. It got a 7.7 on IMDb, so it obviously has a fan base, just like the Death of Superman Lives documentary, which is about making a Superman movie that was never even made in the first place. It was going to be made, and then Warner Brothers pulled the plug. I wanted to know about that. That would have been better than anything the DCU could have done, in my opinion. But anyway, guys, if you want to see this documentary and you don't want to pay a lot of money for it on Amazon, you can watch it on YouTube for free. So just to let you know, if you want to see it before Christmas, it's worth your time. It's 2 hours, so it's very in depth. It's about 2 hours, and it's really good. And thanks for watching, guys. All my videos throughout October. It's been a very stressful month, but November's on the horizon. 30 days, and it's shorter than October. And then a month later, we have Christmas, and then the year's done. Then we get through 2019, and the decade is done. So just a little while longer. At least this December, we don't have KK wars to stir the pot. So that's good. But anyway, thanks, guys, for watching. Take care, and I will see you in November. The theme is going to be cinematic duds, movies that were financial flops or that failed critically, or both. That's what we're discussing for November. And yes, TV movies also count as long as they got like a poor rating on either IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, or whatever. So anything goes as long as it was something that was trashed by critics or it was something that didn't make money at the box office. So that's and anything is almost anything is eligible except for stuff I've already reviewed. Don't ask me to review movies that I've already reviewed because it's pointless unless it's a anniversary. I won't budge. But anyway, thanks, guys, for all your attention. Thanks for all the likes on my videos. Thanks for your comments. Thanks to people on Facebook who have been supportive of me, because it's been rough, man. This year, this decade has been took a lot out of me personally and in a physical sense, but I'm almost through. So thanks, guys, for everything, and I'll see you in the next video.